Welcome to my YouTube channel for the new EdTech classroom. My name is Kary, and I'm a middle school teacher in San Francisco. I love trying out new and innovative education technology in my class and then helping teachers figure out how to work it into their curriculum. Right now, I'm really excited about student podcasting using a program called Soundtrap. I recently started a podcasting club at my school, and I've also just been trying out podcasting in all of my classes. Podcasting might sound like a huge undertaking that requires a ton of equipment and setup, but with Soundtrap, all students need to get started are computers and headsets. I don't know about you, but when I look at my year-long plan, the speaking and listening standards are definitely an area of growth. Podcasting with students helps me fill that gap. Plus, it provides them with the opportunity to discover new talents and interests they might have never known they had. This is going to be a two-part tutorial. In the first part, I'm going to show you some of the basic features of how to use Soundtrap. You might even want to show this to your students because I'm going to show you all the basic features of how it's used. In the second part, I'm going to show you some resources that I put together for a lesson plan to start podcasting with my students, and I'm also going to put the notes to those resources in the video description below. The first thing that you're going to want to do to start podcasting with students is go to soundtrap.com/edu. There you'll be able to sign up as a teacher and create a free 30-day account. If after 30 days you decide you really like it, then you can pay a monthly or annual subscription. When you first log in, I would recommend that you check out the resources tab. On that resources tab, there are some different classroom ideas as well as courses that you can take. I took the certified Soundtrap educator course and highly recommend it. The next important tab to go to is the EDU admin tab. On this tab, you'll be able to import users directly from your Google Classroom. I'm going to go to import users. There, I'll be able to select my Google Classroom. I'll see all of the students that are enrolled in my Google Classroom. When I hit import, it will automatically sync their accounts to Soundtrap. After you've created student accounts, there are a few different ways that you can get students into Soundtrap. One is by sharing the class code with them. You can also post the link onto your Google Classroom. My preferred way to get students into Soundtrap is by first creating an assignment and then sharing that assignment with them on Google Classroom. This has the benefit of directing them right into the music creation studio, and it creates a nice organization system where you can easily find all of the recordings that your students did for a particular assignment. I'm going to now show you how I would create an assignment that I will then share to Google Classroom. While I'm creating this assignment, I'm also going to show you the basic features of how to use Soundtrap. The first thing that you're going to want to do is enter the studio. When you enter the studio, choose podcast. Give your podcast a name so that then when you share it with students, they'll know what they're working on. When you're ready to record an audio track, you hit add new track, click voice and microphones, and start recording. It's as simple as that. I like to make my own recording explaining what the assignment is for students. They can go in and delete that later or keep it. It's up to them. So let's play back my recording and hear what it sounds like. Hi, everyone. For this assignment, you're going to be interviewing a family member and recording that interview in our first class podcast. The next thing I'm going to show you is how to add a musical loop to make your recording sound a little bit more authentically like a podcast. And this is something students have a lot of fun with. You're going to click the music icon. You'll see lots of different musical loops that you can add to your podcast. If students want to preview the loop, they can hit the play button. And when they're ready to actually put it into their recording, they can either drag it in or double click. Now I'm going to show you some of the basic editing functions in Soundtrap that will help students optimize their recording. First, I'm going to want to actually start my podcast with my music. So I'm going to drag the voice recording a little bit forward. Then I'm going to shorten my sound loop so that it's only playing for a short time in the beginning. I can do this simply by clicking and dragging on the sound recording. The next thing that I'm going to show you is how to split a region, which allows you to very easily just delete sections from your recording. If you wanted to split a region in two, simply click where you want to edit the region, go to edit, click split region, and then if you want to delete that section, you can easily delete it. Now, another useful function for podcasting is to fade out a musical track. So what I'm going to do is drag the edge of the music track over the section that I want to fade out. Now what I'm able to do is drag my recorded track right over that faded section. So now we're going to hear the music. It will fade out as my voice track is coming in. Let's hear what that sounds like. Hi everyone, for this assignment, you're going to be interviewing a family member. Pretty awesome. One of the coolest features of Soundtrap is the ability to transcribe the audio track and then use that transcription to actually go back and edit the audio. The way that you're going to do that is by clicking transcribe voice track. Then you'll see that there's a text version of what you recorded. Now here there are a couple different things you can do. If you notice that the text is incorrect, you can correct it by highlighting a word and clicking text correction. The most important feature is the ability to use the transcription to actually directly edit your audio. What you're going to do is highlight a section that you actually want to get rid of. So let's say that you recorded a bunch of ums and you just want to cut that out, or there's just sections of your audio recording that you don't want as part of your final draft. What you're going to do is highlight that section, double click, click cut audio, and you'll see that up top, it's actually shortened my audio recording. So let's play it back to hear what it now sounds like. You're going to be interviewing a family member and recording that interview. Pretty amazing. It makes editing podcasts really easy for students to do. Another great feature of Soundtrap is the ability to add a collaborator to their podcast. They can add somebody to their podcast by clicking the collaborator button, hit plus. From there, they'll be able to see all the other students that are already invited through Google Classroom. They click the invite button, invite that student, and that student will be sent an email asking if they want to participate in their podcast. After the student has accepted the invitation, you'll see their icon pop up, and then that student can also add recordings in the same studio. Now, if the students are outside of class, they can get on a video call together. What's great about this software is that it's essentially like Google Docs, but for audio, so students can collaborate from any location and it will always be saved on the cloud. Now, the next thing you're going to do is save your podcast, click Exit Studio, and here you'll see that there's an option to actually create an assignment. I can click that button or the drop-down menu to create an assignment for students. I'm going to click Create an Assignment, Share Assignment, Google Classroom, pick which Google Classroom you want to share that assignment to. I'll create an assignment, title my assignment, give it a due date, organize it in a topic, and click Assign. Now you can view the assignment directly on Google Classroom the way that a student would see it. I absolutely love it when EdTech software easily integrates with Google Classroom because it makes it so easy for me to push out different assignments to students. Now when students click on this link, they're going to go directly into the studio and they'll be able to hear the recording that you made. This will also push out a separate recording for every single student, so they'll be able to be in their own individual studio. After students have recorded their podcast, you can check out their work by scrolling to the bottom, finding the assignments you created, clicking the drop-down menu, and it will show all the different podcasts that your students have recorded. Now from here, you can choose to do different things. You could download that file as an MP3 and then play it through your iTunes. You could also direct students to download it as an MP3 and then upload that file to Google Classroom as an assignment so that other students in the class can listen to it. And that's actually something that I like to do myself. The next thing I'm going to show you are some resources that I put together to roll out podcasting with my class. The goal of this assignment was to get students to record a podcast about their family history, and it involved them interviewing a family member. The first thing that we did was activate their prior knowledge. So I had students think about what they already knew about a podcast. Then I had them log into NPR and check out some examples of some podcasts so that they could get an idea of what a podcast is all about. From there, they clicked on another link that took them to the question on Google, what is a podcast, so that they could do a little bit of research, poke around, see what the internet says a podcast is. For the next part, what we did is watch some StoryCorps videos together as a class. Students could also watch some independently. They discussed why the StoryCorps videos were good, what were some common elements among them, what they noticed about how the interviewers got their participants to talk about interesting things in those interviews. Then they read a short article also on NPR about what makes a good interview. And from there, they started to plan their interview. So they thought about who they would like to interview, what they already knew about that person, why they wanted to interview them. And then they thought a little bit about if there was any kind of music that might relate to that person so that they might integrate that into their podcast. Next, they planned some interview questions. I directed them to this link where they could find some different ideas for questions that they could ask their relatives to get them to tell an interesting story. Step 4 was to have students go out and interview their family member and then get the answers to the questions they had prepared and record them. Step 5 was to have students plan their recording and then actually record in Soundtrap. So first I had students think about a key idea or theme that they were hoping to communicate, like love or perseverance or the importance of family. I had them really solidify whether or not they were going to put some specific type of music or sound in their recording to illustrate something about their family. Then I had them copy and paste, edit and revise their final draft so that they were ready to log into Soundtrap and record it. Again, I like to post that on Google Classroom to make it really easy for kids to do. After students recorded, I had them upload their MP3 file to Google Classroom and then listen to at least 5 of their classmates' work. From there, I had them leave different comments on their peers' work. Comments that could be either a comment about something that they liked or found interesting, such as, I really appreciated how you did this thing. Another option was to ask a clarifying question or make a connection. For example, could you tell me more about? I want to follow up on your idea about and add something. After we finished the entire project, I had students reflect. They thought about what went well for you with this project, what is something you could do to improve upon next time we do a project like this, and whether or not there's something your teacher could help you with next time. I always like ending a project with a reflection so that they can think about what went well and what is something that they could do to improve. If you're interested in more lesson plan ideas for how to podcast with students, I recommend going to the Lesson Plans tab and then checking out some of the different lessons that are available for you. I hope you learned how easy it is to get started podcasting with students. I highly recommend it, and your students are going to absolutely love it. If you have any questions about how I've been using podcasting in my classes, please ask in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you'd like to see more of my education technology tutorials, hit that red subscribe button. Below, you can also find a link to my website, as well as my Twitter handle and my podcast, where I have conversations with other educators about how they use technology in class and industry professionals about the latest and greatest in education technology. Thanks again and have a great week.